Hey everyone, so it's about time we throw out a video for lesson number 1. Now you already have access to this if you have completed your pretest. If you're looking at the categories on the left and you don't see instructional cycle number 1, then that means you've not taken your pretest yet. So please knock out that pretest to gain access to the course. Now once you do gain access to the course, you're going to notice that the first unit or the first lesson is called the course overview. Now, computer science classes require a little bit more setup than some of the other courses. So we usually do have a course overview section. I know the game design does not this year. But usually it includes downloading software, getting to know your file system, organizing your files in the proper way. So we are going to go over these in class next week. So I believe we meet on Thursday next week. This week will be like an introduction, and then next week we're going to meet up for the first time and go over some course material. So yeah, so the course overview, just go ahead and start poking around in here. It would benefit you to go ahead and try this stuff and then bring your questions to class. That would be great. So if you do that, you're going to be way out ahead of the class. The big things to highlight, and make sure that in every unit, you go through every single module. Okay, so this is one of those things. You won't have mentor resources or teacher resources, but you do have student resources. But make sure when you start with 1.01 or 2.01 that you go through every single one. Now, some of it's going to seem repetitive, but often you can miss like one small section, and that's usually what throws people off, and they end up saying, oh, my project's completely wrong, and all they did was miss one page, which is, can be really frustrating. And as you know, in computer science, everything is kind of sequential. So make sure that you follow each step very carefully. So the things that I would highlight in Unit 1, just really quick, would be setting up your computer and making your course folder. So that's a big one. Make your course folder. Some of the other things are kind of visual, and they make it, it's going to be easier to do things if you put your files in list view and things like that. But really making your course folder is very important. Setting up your browser is another very important one. Make sure you're using the correct browser. And then the most important part of unit number 1 is 1.04, download the resources. Now we will go over this in class. We will do this in class next week together. I'll make sure that you have a chance. That way you have questions. And then all of these talk about how you complete the assignments in this course, like how are you going to get the grade at the end of the year. So make sure you go over 1.04 very carefully. And if you have any trouble getting that software downloaded, which is Python, you're going to be downloading Python. That's the programming language that we use this year. If you have any trouble downloading it at all, feel free to call me on my cell phone, or text me, or send me an email, and I'll make sure to help you out. So that's your introduction to the first unit. We'll do a unit wrap up in about 2 weeks. And like I said, I will see you in class Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Have a good day.